In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Dear students, welcome all of you, and how are you? Today we will discuss about sense organs such as human ear and tongue. We will discuss the structure working of human ear. We will also discuss the human tongue as a sense organ.
Dear students, after this lesson students would able to extend your knowledge of your sense organs. Identify the 5 sense organs. To describe the structure of the human ear and tongue. To explain how our ears convert sound into signals that are sent to the brain. You will learn about the taste buds, sweet, sour, salty, bitter and umami. You will be able to describe where the taste buds are located. Human ears. As we know, hearing is how we perceive sound. It's how our ears take sound waves and turn them into something our brain can understand. The ear is an advanced and very sensitive organ of the human body. The ear's function is to transmit sound to the brain through the parts of the ear. We have 2 ears which help us to tell where sound is coming from. Maintaining a sense of balance is another important function performed by the human ear.
Now the question arises. Why do we have 2 ears? Having 2 ears helps you to determine the direction of sound. Your brain is smart enough to figure out that if sound hits one ear just before the other, and is slightly louder, then that's the direction the sound came from. Having an ear on each side of our head also helps us to hear better.
Now we will discuss the parts of human ear. The human ear consists of 3 parts. Outer ear, middle ear, inner ear.
Outer ear. The first part of human ear is called outer ear. It consists of following parts also. The pinna or ear flap, this is the part of the ear on the outside of our heads. The part we usually are referring to when we say. It helps to gather sound and vibrations so we can hear more sounds. The ear canal. This is a tube that helps sound to travel further inside our ear and to get to the next stage of hearing. Your eardrum is very sensitive and fragile. It's never a good idea to put anything in your ear, even something that seems safe and soft can damage your eardrum.
Middle ear. The second part of human ear is called middle ear. It consists of following parts also. The middle ear contains 3 tiny bones. Hammer, attached to the eardrum. Anvil, in the middle of the chain of bones. Stirrup, attached to the membrane-covered opening that connects the middle ear with the inner ear, oval window. Inner ear. The third part of human ear is called inner ear. The inner ear contains a group of interconnected, fluid-filled chambers. The snail-shaped chamber, called the cochlea, plays a role in hearing. Sound vibrations from the bones of the middle ear are transferred to the fluids of the cochlea. Tiny sensors, hair cells, lining the cochlea convert the vibrations into electrical impulses that are transmitted along the auditory nerve to your brain.
Now we will discuss the working of human ear in detail. The ear flap gathers sound waves from the environment and directs them into the ear canal. From ear canal it moves to the eardrum. Our ears don't need to turn because they are shaped to catch sound waves from any direction and direct the sound waves to the eardrum.
The vibration of the eardrum triggers a chain of vibrations through the bones. Because of differences in the size, shape and position of the 3 bones, the force of the vibration increases by the time it reaches the inner ear. These small bones which amplify the vibration of the eardrum, increasing their force more than 20 times.
The inner ear is filled with fluid and has the hearing organ called the cochlea. The other fluid-filled chambers of the inner ear include 3 tubes called the semicircular canals. Hair cells in the semicircular canals detect the motion of the fluid when you move in any direction. They convert the motion into electrical signals that are transmitted along the semicircular canal's nerve to the brain. This sensory information enables you to maintain your sense of balance. The comparison and analysis of all the signals that reach the brain enable you to detect certain sounds and suppress other sounds as background noise.
Now we will discuss that our ear is the organ of balance in our body. The semicircular canals are organ of balance. They are right-angled to each other and have cells in their walls. The brain takes in a number of signals from your body to keep it balanced. One of them is from the fluid in the inner ear. The brain can tell a lot by how the fluid in your ear is moving or tilted. When you go off balance, your brain tells your muscles to keep you upright.
3 common things which are normally related to our ear are: hearing. If your ears are working well, you hear sounds all the time. You can't switch your ears off, even when you're asleep. Listening. When you really want to listen to something, you tell your brain to concentrate on that sound. Understanding. Your brain sorts out the sounds and tells you what they mean.
Now our next sense organ to discuss is tongue. Your tongue has the taste buds in between the ridges. When you chew your food, it gets broken down into smaller pieces which are easier to digest. When mixed with saliva, chewing allows your body to extract the greatest possible amount of nutrients from the food you eat. That is an advantage to move food around your mouth before you swallow it. It is involved in licking, tasting, breathing, swallowing, and speaking. The taste buds present on the tongue give it a rough texture. The tongue is the main sensory organ of the taste sense. The upper surface of a tongue is covered with taste buds which contain taste receptors. The bumps we can see on the tongue are called papillae. Taste buds sit on top of these papillae but are not visible to the human eye. There are several nerves in the tongue that help in transmitting taste signals to the brain, and thus help in taste sensation.
Taste buds and their locations. Sweet, tip of the tongue. Sour, both sides of the tongue. Salty, front sides of the tongue ridges. Bitter, back of the tongue. Umami, middle of the tongue. In the last we will discuss certain facts about tongue. The tongue is a muscular structure and it is attached to the floor of the mouth. The human tongue has 3,000 to 10,000 taste buds. The taste buds sit on top of the papillae but are not visible. The human tongue is divided into 2 parts, anterior and posterior. The human tongue has 8 muscles. The average human tongue is 4 inches. In order for us to taste something, it first needs to be moistened by saliva. Our tongue helps us to speak. The tongue is the main sensory organ of taste. At the end, students, you have to recapitulate the lesson by using worksheets, question bank and quiz for more understanding of the topics. You have to write down the question and their answers on your notebooks. Thanks.